I'm Spooky Mareep. So, I'm actually the pilot of this Anything Goes National Dex team, and I'm pretty proud of it. Um, I refer to this team as my super anti-meta team. Every Pokemon on this team, in particular, Generation 8 National Dex, is very specifically designed mostly to beat the team that you're seeing on the screen. And the way that it accomplishes this is by having an answer to just about everything, even though the answer isn't usually great, and I'm almost always at a disadvantage and playing against the player. The joke, and I lead with, and you'll see in a moment, is that it's a 1440 ELO team. It can't really rise above that because at some point the stat differential just cannot be overcome. There's just too much raw amounts of HP. There's just too much raw attack power that is disproportional to my OU team. Mine's actually it is an OU team, but it's also got some UU team stuff. There is one Uber, and that's Marshadow, because Marshadow's really good, and it also like pseudo checks Yveltal. Is that how you say that? Yveltal? I don't know. But it also stops like gimmick teams in the early bracket, like 1200 bracket. Will have like baton pass teams, and that is a hard destroyer of that. So we'll start out. So I always like to get my hazards up, and most people read that I have choice band or choice scarf on Landorus because that's just like the common set. I don't. I actually run heavy duty boots and use it as a defogger. So usually what happens here, the play, yeah, see, defog. Um, Now I don't mind being toxic because that actually keeps me from getting burned, and it also means that like go ahead, stall all day. I'm actually still in an advantage state here because the odds that he will send out something faster. So I have to Dynamax here. I have to. Yep. And that's always the play. And the reason that's the play is because if they also Dynamax, the game ends. And I'll explain why. So it is 100% that they can KO with Max Darkness because it does like with Life Orb. Well, I don't think Life Orb matters for maximizing, but does it? I'm not actually sure. Either way, it does about 160 base power, and that's enough to just straight up knock me out. Almost always. I'm low on health by this point. I'm usually below 50. The other reason is because Yveltal is by far the biggest threat in the meta to my team, and it is pervasive. It is on every single team, and the only way that I know how to deal with it is max rockfall. Unfortunately, what this does is it limits my ability to switch into Shedinja to Wonder Stall, and I don't really mind that because especially against a team like this, especially with rocks up, I'm already screwed there, so it's not a big deal. So I have to kill it. I have to put it below a certain health threshold or it won't be viable. Now, unfortunately, this one roosts, so it actually loses its flying type there and isn't super effective the second time. And I don't have a way to swing out against this a second time. And I don't, other than reading, obviously, like I did, but it wasn't enough to kill it. I needed to have red roost on that turn, which most don't roost on that turn. So it was well played by my opponent. So now I can basically sacrifice Shedinja at any point in this game as a free switch turn, but unfortunately will not be able to use it advantageously. Now, Arceus, I'll talk a bit about Arceus. So there's only really 3 viable Arceuses, in my opinion, against my team. I don't really know how the meta centralizes with Arceus in higher brackets because I only have ever really brought this team piloted to about 1800 ELO. So Arceus Fairy, generally speaking, has a really, really expansive move pool set. The biggest threats here are Refresh, Stall, Calm Mind, or Will-O-Wisp, Ice Beam, which is what I'm anticipating is Ice Beam, but also just type disadvantage here. I have to switch out. And so Toxapex doubles as both my hard physical wall, but also my soft special wall. And that'll always be my switch. Now, unfortunately, this is a free roost for him, but that also means that I get to get a quote-unquote free toxic. It's not really free. It's actually a terrible trade for me, but it does allow me to set up against Calyrex because Scarf Scarf is less threatening to my team because of Shadow Sneak, and also Ditto than is Focus Sash. So there's my free switch. Now I switch into Zacian is bad, and the game ends. See? Zacian is bad. So that's the team. That right there, what you just saw, is what makes my team an anti-meta team. This game is over. There is a zero. There is zero chance that his dog has a scarf. 0% because it's the metal dog, right? So I will not. It's not a speed tie here. I'm faster. I'm also faster than Calyrex, unless it is scarfed, which, like, it's possible. But what I can do is I can counter sweep and switch out and pivot to then Ditto trap the Calyrex should I choose. And that's it. Yeah, the game ends. The game ends there. So he says, I played like a noob. And I say Zacian is bad. And he kind of did. He kind of played like a noob. And so he says, yeah, I'll see ya. I tell him I play too much. And yeah, so that's one game. And we'll do another. Thanks for joining. Okay, so here's a team that is like slightly less meta. I'll zoom in a little more. Slightly less central meta, but definitely still, you know, I call them the big three. There's actually, it's really the big four, but it's Calyrex, Zacian, Necrozma, and generally speaking, Rayquaza or Yveltal, or both. And I don't, you know, Eternatus is not like central meta. Neither is like Ferrothorn, but like both of those things hard stop my team. Like, I actually have such a low win percent chance against those teams that have those mons, to the point where sometimes I'll forfeit. Same thing against like water typed Arceus or occasionally dark typed Arceus depending on its move pool set. And that's usually because of Perish Song, Whirlpool's Trap, or just type advantage. So so Ho-Oh is bad. I don't really understand what makes Ho-Oh good. So I will just defeat Ho-Oh here. I will go immediately for Stone Edge, and people don't switch out because they assume I'm going to lead with rocks, and that's it. They just trade it every time. I don't really understand, so I'll explain something. I always see players in any bracket, all the way up to about 2400 ELO, I would think. So and this is interesting. I'm actually typing it here. That's funny that I'm talking about it as you see me typing about it. It says, it's like, what is that? What is the read? Like, why are you letting me kill it? Because it's very consistent in this meta. I don't understand. And he asks if I'm a bot, and I tell him I'm dead serious, and I am. I don't understand why that play is so consistent for my opponents. So he throws rocks, and I still have my defogger up. That's basically the whole entire reason I run Landorus, and I have to keep defog up immediately. And he just happened to switch into Necrozma, which super type advantaged me with that switch. That was not, I was actually not reading that. I was actually sacrificing Landorus to do a defog, because defog is more important because it allows me to Shedinja stall, and Shedinja stall forces a switch, and if I can force a switch, I can force a poison, and if I can force a poison, I can also Ditto trap, and if I can Ditto trap, I can win the game. And so usually I'm reading 3 or 4 turns ahead in terms of like what my master plan for the game is going to be. And I'm always planning my win condition. So like in this game, my win condition is Zacian trap. So I get a little bit of damage. He's gonna recover. Yep. I get another defog, that's fine. He's probably gonna switch at this point. Yep. And so there I read the switch. Players, so you're seeing something here. I'm watching a playback from last month, and I still can anticipate what the player is going to do because I haven't watched this game back since then. It's just my team, like I said, is anti-meta. Now, part of that meta is actually the players themselves define the meta. Like, I'll find that like at certain times of day, players are significantly more skilled because there's a I could draw it like it's like a bell curve of like where people live in different time zones when those players are on. versus off-peak hours. Like off-peak hours, you get a very different meta. But anyway, we'll keep watching. So I'm not really worried at all. You can dance all day. I have Quagsire to hard stall that. And even if that had hit, that would have done like 15% damage. Like, he can heal all day. I don't mind. I'm just walling him unless he's a toxic stall or has photon beam or whatever it's called. I don't really care. Now I'm just fishing for the burn because it's advantageous to me. Now 53 damage is actually like kind of concerning because it does mean that I actually have to contend against like sacrificing it. But of course he's playing like a newbie coward, honestly. The critical hit obviously doesn't help me here either. Now that should burn. Darn, it didn't burn. So that's fine. I'm actually kind of surprised about that. There may be like a mold breaker thing that I'm unaware of or something. Now I'll probably go Mega here because I need to push damage. Oh, he traded for Defog. Yeah, I need the damage. If that doesn't kill that turn and he heals, the game ends for me because what happens is he throws Stealth Rocks, which automatically means that I lose my stall tactic, my stall rotation tactic. It also breaks. I'm not actually sure which version of the team this is. If this is the Scarf version, the Life Orb version, or the Focus Sash version. But yeah, suffice to say that if that didn't kill that turn, I would rather trade the Hail and just like hope to stall a couple turns and Ditto Trap instead than allow the possibility to stop that. So I'll probably switch out here to a Focus Sash stall. Oh, he messed up big time. The fool. So I don't mind. So here is I'm Focus Sash stalling. Yep, Focus Sash. And then I have Shadow Sneak. So that's a pretty easy way to deal with pretty much any threat from Calyrex. So I'm going to point something out that just happened there. That's actually important. So I switch into Toxapex knowing that he's not going to double switch me, not at 1440 ELO, or like this is probably like 1650 ELO. People are not anticipating this level of mind game fuckery in Anything Goes. So I run Rocky Helmet on both Quagsire and Toxapex because the rotation is so easy to stall. It's more important that I break Focus Sashes. It's more important that I get chip damage on like U-turns or on Dragon Ascents, for example, to like, again, break Focus Sash, that I run Rocky Helmet on both, because over the long periods of the game, that can help equalize the amount of health that I do to their team. Because like, if you were to draw their health bar versus my health bar, in some ways I have like an unlimited health bar because I can switch between the two Yakuza. They're both named Yakuza. And I can stall. Now, on the other hand, I'm also running like UU mons against like freaking Ho-Oh and like Arceus and Necrozma. So I break the Focus Sash there, and that's going to be very important later. And this also allows me a setup turn. This game is actually over. Like mechanically, the game is over at this point because the moment that he sends in Zacian, I win. And if I burn this here, then it's just like great. So we'll do one more game after this, and then I'll make my upload. Thanks, guys, again for joining. Right there, I'm just kind of like I'm just doing that to just basically stall. There's no reason to like poison other than to like hit Marshadow, but like Marshadow doesn't stand a chance because I have all 3 Marshadow checks. So yeah, so there it is. There's the Zacian Panic. Now at this point, I just basically keep shooting. A little bit of rotation switching just to like mess him up a little bit. Threaten the helmet. Endeavor, that's a really weird move. It's not very good. I'll probably just make the sacrifice here. No, I'm messing with him. Yeah, he actually cannot hit me. So, another one down.